I'm Liza. I'm a Chestertown resident. I live down to Pomona Way, and my husband and I own Play It Again Sam's. My husband and I were living in Northern California, doing the Silicon Valley life, like working in technology and stuff. He ran a nightclub. We came here for President's Day weekend to visit my mother, who lives in town, who at some point, I'm not sure what happened, but she coerced us into going to look at real estate. And then we bought a house, which was completely illogical because we live in California. But it seemed like she had a good plan. She had good vision. And so we sold our house. We went back to California. We listed our house. We sold it 9 days later and moved here the next month. Pete was working wine sales, and he was in his car all the time, driving all over the Eastern Shore. And that was kind of a drag. Again, he was constantly on his cell phone, and somebody always needed X, Y, and Z, and they needed it yesterday. And it was starting to wear on him. I had a retail business here in town. You know, I was pretty relaxed. He saw that and was like, huh, that looks great. And then this came up. It was on the market for about a year before we started really talking about it. You know, it was always a great place. We spent a lot of time here anyway. Pete and the previous owner, Peggy, were friends because Pete was her wine salesman. So he came and saw her once a week, and every time he would come in and see her, she'd say, have you thought about buying this place? You really ought to think about buying this place. And so, you know, it's sort of the logical progression, and I think it was the right choice. He's very good at it, and he's happy doing it. You know, it's sort of the hub. It's where you find out what's going on, you find out what to do. You know, where should you be? What events should you be visiting or taking advantage of? You find it out at Sam's, because eventually somebody having to do with some of it is going to show up. You know, for a while I had a retail business here in Chestertown. It did very well for the first couple of years that I had it, and then the economy sort of changed the ballgame for retail in general. But you know, the way you make a living in Chestertown, if you're not working outside of Chestertown or working for the college, is you provide service to the people who do live here and who are in town. My experience in my store was people wanted really high quality products. They didn't want to pay a lot for them. And, you know, and I think this is with anybody, you know, there was a certain amount of, oh, well, I could get this cheaper if I went to Dover. You know, you hear a lot of that. And it's really hard to compete with Target if you're selling, you know, household tchotchkes. Target has great household tchotchkes, and they're cheap. And in Dover, they're tax-free. So what you have to have in Chestertown has to be so unique that you can't get it anywhere else. The beauty of this town is that, especially in the downtown, there are a million little spaces. When they come up, they get snatched up really quickly. Unfortunately, lately, a lot of them have become real estate offices, but they're there, and they just require a little bit of vision, you know. Don't plan on knocking down walls, plan on making it sort of an intimate space for somebody to, you know, spend time and enjoy themselves. Because that's what Chestertown is. It's an intimate space. Chestertown is not Middletown. We're not this, you know, behemoth of a suburb. We're like somebody's living room. Everybody's anti-development in Kent County, and I am too. I'm anti-bad development. But I think that, you know, it's going to come no matter what. It's inevitable. If Stepney Farm is going to be built the way they say it's going to be built and is a continuation of the town, it has the potential to be a really big boom to the town. You know, and could be great for Sam's. Think of all the people that have to drive by the coffee shop in the morning and the evening. And it wouldn't be like houses popping up like mushrooms in a field. You know, it's sort of this planned development that really literally should be a continuation of the town. I think it's probably the best of lots of bad options, you know. I mean, you know, everybody hates change, but it happens. There's no way that this community is going to remain untouched by development. It just isn't. We could keep out Walmart, but we're not going to be able to stop a neighborhood from cropping up. So we might as well take some control over it. I mean, I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to the construction phase of it, but it'll be interesting to see how the town grows and the economy of the town. And I mean, it should, in theory, be great for downtown. So people will be able to walk down here. If we had a great restaurant, they could walk to that. You know, the shops will do better. It'll be great. We could use a really great, easy restaurant. I mean, that's all I want, really. All I want is a really good restaurant to come to downtown that I can bring my kids. It isn't going to cost me a fortune. That I can get a really great dinner and, just sort of relax and have it be a low-key experience. I don't actually need fancy white tablecloths and waiters in tuxedos, but I do want really good food. And I feel like we settle here. I'm not trying to pass judgment on, the food scene around here, because I know that the people who are working in it are working really hard, and they are doing their best to make it as good as possible. But between, staffing issues and, the seasonal nature of the businesses, it's just, they're not able to pull it together. We're never going to have a San Francisco. We're never going to have a Stars here in Chestertown. It would be great, but it's unlikely to happen anytime soon. So the best places that are here are sort of middle of the road, they're okay. Brooks Tavern is the one that I think is that's the brilliant restaurant of Chestertown. And they don't have a lot of tables. And they seat as many people as they can. They feed everybody really well. The food's great. The service is good. And they keep it sort of to a dull roar. They're feeding the demographic that is here. If they added 2 more rooms to that restaurant, they would be in huge trouble because they would never fill those tables. We're never unhappy with the decision that we made to come here. The economy isn't great. The economy isn't really great anywhere, so we could be here or anywhere else. It would probably be just as chaotic and stressful. I'm glad we're here. I'm glad I'm raising my kids here. I know all the parents of their friends in their classes, and I know I can send my son on his wow. I can send my son on his bike to the Pomona store alone, even though I call them before he leaves, and they call me when he leaves there. But, I know he's okay. Would I have done that in California? Never. Not in a million years. We have lots of friends here. You know everybody. Eventually, if you're here long enough, you're going to know everybody. I mean, you don't have to like them all, and they don't have to like you, but you have a relationship with them. I mean, that's the beauty of being in a small town. It took some adjustment. I think it took Pete more time than it took me because I was kind of brought up in an area like this. But we go back to visit people in California, and he's like, there's too much traffic and all these people, and I can't take it. And he's always really happy when he gets home. So obviously, so 10 years from now, the community grows a little bit, the economy picks up, business is great. We'll still be happy that we're here.